Hello everyone, so welcome to today's video. We are doing a tutorial and it ended up being a bit of a monochromatic look with some rose on the eyes, some rose on the cheeks and lips. But you know what? I only had plans to use one product, which was this. And this is the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette that I have busted out of my collection. I have sanitized it and I said, you know what? I need to make some use out of this. If not, it's gotta go. And so we're using this for some eyeshadow looks today, and I'm gonna kind of talk you through the colors that I use. But if you haven't seen this, I'm pretty sure everybody knows about this. This has been out for a very long time and you can still get them. These came out years and years ago, but these are the Naked palettes. This is the Naked 3, which is the kind of pinky, mauve types of colors. So I created something that's just easy to do for any occasion, for going to school, work, whatever. Super easy to do. I think it's a really nice way to incorporate some kind of pink tones without it being like pink in your face, you know what I mean? This is more of a sophisticated type of look, and you definitely don't have to do the rose for blush and the rose color for the lips. You can do a nude, you can do whatever you want, really. Whatever you feel like wearing works well with these colors. So if you want to see how I do this look, then just keep watching. So we're going to do some bronzer. Now I did go through my collection and pick out some new things I wanted to incorporate. So I have a few new things for this week, and I've done this before in the past since sort of the beginning of the year. And I haven't really done a video kind of sharing with you guys like the items of the week per se, but I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that I have been using this week. So a rediscovered bronzer is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I've had this for quite some time, and I remember really enjoying it, and I love it now, still the same as I did before. Smells really good, smells like summer. I'm sure everybody says that. So for bronzer, I'm going to use my Morphe E3, which looks like this. I recently washed my brushes, so they're nice and clean and ready to go. This butter bronzer is really nice because it's not very chalky or drying at all, and it's actually quite nice. So I just like to take it, just a little bit of it, and go around my hairline and a little bit onto my cheeks because it's a really soft color. It's not completely matte. It has like a bit of a kind of satiny type of finish to it where it just looks like skin. I do take some down my jawline. So in my collection, I dug out my Naked palettes. I sprayed them down with some alcohol because I've had these for quite some time. And honestly, out of all the Naked palettes, I think the original Naked palette is by far the one that I have used the most out of all of the Naked palettes. These, unfortunately, have not received a lot of love in my collection, even when I first got them. So the Naked 2, I'm sure everybody has seen this. This is more of like the cooler tones and just easy everyday type of colors. However, the Naked 3 is a little bit different. This one is more on the kind of pinky, mauve side, and I haven't done a lot of like mauve tones lately, so I think I'm going to go in with the Naked 3. Alright, so the first shade I'm going to use is called Strange, which is the lightest color in the palette. And I'm just using that with a big fluffy eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to lightly dust that just to make sure that all of the concealer and foundation that I have on my lids is nice and set, because if not, we will get some creasing. Are these two here that are matte. So these are really the only ones that you can have for like crease colors if you want to stick with using like mattes. I mean, you can use anything in your crease if you want. Dark Side, which is a little bit darker, is more of a satiny color, and then Black Heart has some definite shimmer in it. So I'm going to go with Limit, which is this shade right here. And I'm going to apply this to my crease. So I'm going to kind of apply some of this to this outer V and then bring it up into the crease. And that's really a pretty shade. I mean, it's very pigmented, of course, as most eyeshadows from Urban Decay are. I'm pretty sure that the newer palettes that they've made over the last few years, because I've had this for a while, are probably more of an updated formula, so they're probably even more pigmented maybe. But I am not disappointed with this shade. That's really pretty. I mean, for an everyday look, you could just do something like that with some eyeliner, some mascara. And then I'm going to go back. I always have my eyeshadow brush that I use to start off with really close by so that I can go around the edges of that and soften that, maybe use a little bit more of that strange if I needed to bring down whatever I put in my crease that went up too high. Alright, so I wanted to darken up the outer V a little bit, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just use that other matte shade called Nooner, which is a little bit deeper. So I started with this one here, which is Liar, is it? No, Limit. Limit. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this shade, which is called Nooner. And I'm using just kind of a pointed crease brush. And this is a little bit more intense as far as the tone of that kind of purpley mauve-y color. So I'm going to put this on the outer V. And then I'm lightly going to pull it into the crease. So I'm putting most of it out here and then working it into the crease a little bit. So for the lids, I want to do something a little bit more kind of pinky and somewhat rose gold type of shade. And the only one that's kind of similar to what I'm thinking would work really nicely with these shades is called Trick, which looks like this here. It's a really nice rose gold, and I will swatch it. And I also like the shade next to it called Buzz. So here is the Trick, and then here is Buzz, which is more like pinky. So I'm going to start with Trick first and put that onto my lids. I'm going to use just an eyeshadow brush that's kind of flat so it picks up the product. So I think I'm going to go in with a little bit more of this shade right here, which is the Buzz. And this one is definitely more pink. So I'm going to press that right over the top. I kind of want a little bit more brightness. So let's go in with the color Dust, which is the second shade. And that is definitely, where am I? This is definitely brighter and more pink. And I'm going to apply this to like the inner part of the eye. That's just going to kind of brighten things up a little bit. Didn't it? I feel like I'm going to have to foil this. Alright, so I'm going to get my Evian spray water. And I think I'm going to go in with the Buzz, because I don't want too bright on the lids, because it's going to definitely look much brighter once we foil it. So I'm going to take Buzz. And I am loading up my brush, which is what you want to do first, then spray. You don't want to spray your eyeshadows directly. And then pat it. I did spray a lot. And so now you are going to have a much more intense color payoff. Alright, so now I'm going to work on the lower lash line. I'm going to start with the same brush that I used for the outer V. I'm going to take the Limit shade, which is the lightest color that I used in my crease, and I'm going to apply that to this lower lash line. And I'm going to add some of the Nooner, which is a little bit darker. I feel like doing this definitely completes the look. Alright, so now I want to add a little bit of darkness on the lower lash line, so I'm going to use my flat definer brush, which I always use, in the shade called Dark Side, which is quite dark, and it's more of like a kind of purpley gray color. I'm going to take a little bit of that, tapping off the excess, and this is going to go right on this outer part of the eye. And then I go back in with that same brush that I used to apply the colors to the crease and the lower lash line. I'm just going to soften those edges out so everything looks nice and seamless and blended. Then switching to a small like detail style brush, I'm going to go in with the color Strange, which is the very lightest shade, so the first color. And that's going to go into the inner corner. and also underneath the brow. Alright, so time for some eyeliner. I'm going to tightline with my Charlotte Tilbury in Bedroom Black. And it's just a standard black eyeliner. Nothing really that special about it. Okay, for liner, I'm going to bust out my new Clinique Pretty Easy that I got in my February Play by Sephora box, which this is one of my go-to favorite liners. I love it, so I'm going to do just a thin line and then some mascara. I'm going to use my Maybelline Total Temptations. This is really the only mascara that I have open at the moment. I do like this mascara. I talked about it smelling like Play-Doh several videos back, and that still stands true. I have not changed my mind about that. I feel like that's a pretty accurate description. And mind you, yes, I do have a toddler, so I am pretty familiar with some Play-Doh. I do like the way this makes my lashes look. However, I'm scraping quite a bit of product off of the wand on the rim of the product, which is why mine looks so disgusting, because there's so much product formula gooped on this brush. It's not bad, but it's not my favorite. I like the overall result, but I have to comb through them. I have to, you know, take off the formula because it's too much on the brush. Then I end up getting it onto my skin. It's a hassle, but it's not bad, you know, it's okay. Alright, so that is 2 coats of the mascara. As you can see, I do like the result that it gives me. Makes my lashes look really long. I do have long lashes to begin with, and I am very picky with my formulas. I do like the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. That is my favorite one, but I don't have one right now to use, so that will have to do. For the lower lash line, I'm going to use my Clinique Lash Power Mascara, which I always use because the wand is super, super tiny, and I can get really close to the root of my lashes and get every single lash and not have to worry about making a mess with a bigger wand. Alright, so for blush, I'm going to use this little mini one from Tarte. This was part of the birthday gift through Sephora, I think last year. And it's just a pretty rosy, kind of neutral color. It's not too warm, and it's not really bright either. I feel like it works with a lot of things, a lot of looks. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to apply it with the Eco Tools Define brush. Just going to swirl it onto the apples of my cheek. It is a little on the rosy side, so it's kind of, I don't want to say like creating a monochromatic look with the rosiness on the eyes and the rosiness on the cheek, but pink is really the name of the game today because we have a pink highlighter, pink blush, pink eyeshadow. Okay, so for highlighter, I like to use the Morphe E8 brush, which is also really good for contouring. I've mentioned that before. Taking the highlighter, this is the Pink Glow, and I just like to kind of dabble my brush all over, and then just apply it on the tops of my cheekbone and come around my brow here, like a C shape. And that is really, really pretty. And then what's cool with this one is that if I wanted more pink, I can come down a little bit further. If I wanted more white and bright, I can come up into this little corner here that has more of the white, which I'm going to do just to kind of brighten this up a little bit. That's really, really pretty. I'm going to go down my nose, Cupid's bow. I think I'm going to use my finger with some of the light white onto my Cupid's bow. Just a little bit. And then for lips, I'm using the lipstick by LORAC in Damsel. These are the satin lipsticks, which looks like this. Really nice and pretty. There's a swatch of it there. So this ended up really being a monochromatic look. Got some rose on the cheeks, rose on the lips, rose on the eyes. I'm digging it. It's different because I normally don't use these rosy tones for eyeshadows, but I really am enjoying the way this looks, and I have been impressed with the Urban Decay eyeshadows for many, many years, but these I've had for some time, and I'm glad I busted them out to use, and I think I might do some looks on my off time with the Naked 2 and see if I can make some use of them. And if, of course, if I don't really use them as much as I'd hope to, then they've got to go because you guys know I've cleaned out my collection. I've sort of been trying to narrow it down and pare it down as much as I can just to keep what's good, what really works, what I enjoy. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this type of video and this sort of get ready with me. I hope you enjoyed the way the look came out. If you try it, let me know. If you have this palette, let me know what your favorite color combinations are. Don't forget to expand the description box if you're interested in knowing any of the products that I use for today's look. Have a great week ahead, and I will talk to y'all very soon. Bye-bye.